screen?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, so I'm going to start recording.
I think I already started it, Bharat.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Good. All right, hello everyone. My name is Bharat, and I'm the research analyst at the Statistical Analytics Center. Here are my colleagues Natalia Turcaso and Erica Atzenhofer. We'll be talking about the LVAP 5% funds and human trafficking certification and recertification. So we're just going to go through the steps. So there's a two-step process. There's supporting documentation, and then there's the certification application. All right, so what we're gonna be talking about LVAP and HTVAO. We're gonna do an overview of them. With them, we're gonna talk about eligibility, and then the certification and application process. And I'm gonna hand it off to Natalia.
Okay. Are you able to see my PowerPoint?
Yep, we can
Yes.
see it.
Beautiful. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalia Turcaso. I'm a grant specialist within the community programs under the Victim Assistance Division, and I pretty much oversee the LVAP supporting documentation. Today, like Bharat said, we're going to review, trying to go next, there you go. Review LVAP and HTVAO. We'll do an overview of the process. We'll review the supporting documentation process and then transition to step 2. So LVAP and HTVAO funds are derived from the 5% penalty added to fines in all criminal ordinance cases, specifically to fund victim assistance programs that provide direct services. It's collected and distributed by the counties, not by CJCC. It's a separate funding source outside of CJCC, and it's not guaranteed. It depends on the county. What we are responsible for is certifying that applicants have at least one program specifically designed to meet the specialized needs of criminal victims and qualify to deliver direct services, collecting data regarding funds collected, distributed, and retained by counties, as well as funds received and spent by certified agencies, and also reporting counties that do not provide data semi-annually. So LVAP certification could be granted to any victim serving organization that are subgrantees of CJCC, or any victim serving organization who is seeking eligibility to apply to receive 5% funds, even if they do not currently receive funding through CJCC. HTVAO certification, this one's a little bit more detailed. They may be granted to agencies that demonstrate an effective record of serving youth victims of human trafficking through trauma-informed, comprehensive, and culturally competent services, and cater to the specialized needs of CSEC, commercially sexually exploited children, through a combination of services such as residential care, case management, legal assistance, mental health treatment. Also, it should be said, Senate Bill 158, the Anti-Human Trafficking Protective Act, addresses emergency care and supervision of a child without a court order, states that a law enforcement officer or agency or the Department of Family and Children's Services are to refer any child suspected of being a victim of sexual exploitation or trafficking to an available victim assistance organization. Victim assistance organizations must be certified by CJCC. And also for HTVAO, things to note going forward. HTVAO applicants will no longer have to certify for LVAP separately. Once you submit your supporting documentation for HTVAO, you will automatically be considered for LVAP certification as well. So you don't need to fill out LVAP supporting documentation and then HTVAO supporting documentation. It all comes together at one. HTVAO will certify or recertify an even number of years to match the LVAP recertification process. So every 2 years, you'll need to do this process. And HTVAO applicants will receive email reminders when it comes time to complete the certification-related activities. Usually, this will be sent by Bara, sometimes maybe Erica. And now we're going to overview the process. So in order to read and download the guidelines, go to our website, criminaljusticecoordinatingcouncil.org, and go under grants, and you can either click on the LVAP 5% certification or Human Trafficking Victim Assistance Organization. There, I'm not too sure where my slide went for the next one, but that's okay. There, you'll be able to go down and you'll see a downloadable guidelines. It'll say 2024, 2026. However, we are still working on getting our updated guidelines into the website for 2026 through 2028.
And I just wanted to mention with that, Natalia, I believe that those website updates should be completed in the next couple of days. So
Okay,
you guys hopefully should have it by end of day tomorrow, if not the first or the beginning of the week next week. So you should be able to see those new 2026 to 2028 guidelines for both LVAP and HTVAO located on our website.
Beautiful. Okay, that's great news. So going over the two-step process, like we mentioned before, step 1 is submitting your supporting documentation, and step 2 is completing the application, also known as the annual report. Usually notifications and reminders for both of these steps will come from Bharat. Currently, for step 1, me and Erica are reviewing the submissions for supporting documentation. As you can imagine, there's been a lot, which is great because it's still before the deadline of the 27th. So currently we're still reviewing and moving along, chugging on that. Once we review all of the submissions that have been submitted by the 27th, we will notify Bharat of the the agencies who have properly submitted their supporting documentations, and he will then start emailing your agencies for step 2 instructions. Also important to note, agencies submitting only the supporting documentation requested and necessary will be prioritized. So submitting outdated, unsigned, or otherwise unrequested documents will slow this review process down. Please include all pages of requested documents, and please be responsive to the requests from myself or Erica for updated documentation. Also important to know, I think we've said this before, submitting the supporting documentation is not the same as submitting the certification application, aka the annual report. Step 1 is the supporting documentation. Step 2 is the annual report or the certification application. So for the supporting documentation, this is just for LVAP. So for LVAP, proof of 501c3 status, this is only for nonprofits. Next is proof of training credentials. This must be completed by one member of your team, 20 hours of victim service related training completed no earlier than 2024. So if I'm reviewing a submission and their training credentials have 20 hours of victim service related training, but it's between 5 different staff members, that wouldn't suffice. Or if a submission has 20 hours of victim service related training, but it was completed in 2020, that also would not work. And last but not least, we would need an MOU or protocol, which must cover each county in which you're trying to be LVAP certified in. I'm going to take you through the supporting documentation form stack. This is pretty brief on the LVAP side. You're going to fill out your username and password. If you do not have this, please contact me or Bara and we can provide that for you. Include your agency's name, doing business as name, and your name, whoever is the reporter submitting this supporting documentation, the address and the email of the reporter, and the address of the agency, I should specify, and then the name of the executive director and email of the executive director. Next would be this very long list of counties. Which counties are you looking to be LVAP certified in? Please check those off. Next is, are you currently a subgrantee receiving CJCC funds? Yes, no, or I hope to apply in the future. And is your agency aware of the Find Help Georgia resource? Yes or no? And then after that is the supporting documentation piece where you attach any of your documents. So the first would be the 501c3 status, only required for nonprofits. Next would be the training credentials, and then the signed and current MOU or protocol. We do have several other drop boxes for additional documents, but those are optional. Once you have attached all of your supporting documentation, go ahead and click Submit Form, and I'll get a notification letting me know that you have submitted.
Natalia, I think we have a couple of questions.
Yes.
If you want to take them right now, or if you want to wait until we complete the supporting doc portion, it's up to you.
Yes, let me finish off with the HTVAO supporting documentation,
Sure.
and then I'll review the questions.
Sure.
All right. So for HTVAO supporting documentation, this is a little bit more detailed. Proof of current 501c3 status, again, only for nonprofits. An organization's complete policies and procedures manual. This is not the employee handbook. A current strategic plan. Intake forms or process and screening tools such as ACEs. MTD MOUs dated since 2024, or proof of membership in a human trafficking task force dated no earlier than 2024. Current IRS EIN verification confirmation letter. A proof of state licensure to operate residential facilities, if that applies to your agency. Training credentials, very similar, but a little bit different. So must be completed by one member of your team. At least 20 hours of victim service related training. However, 10 of those hours need to be specific to serving CSEC victims. So 20 hours, but 10 of those need to be specific to serving CSEC victims. And also these training credentials need to be completed no earlier than 2024. Last but not least is a current licensure for mental health or social work professional. I'm going to go through the HTVAO submission form stack, and then I'll review the questions. So for the HTVAO form stack, very similar in the beginning. Enter your username and password, your agency name and address, include your email, whoever's reporting the submission, the county that your agency's main office is located, the agency website, when your program was established, agency aware of Find Help Georgia resource. Are you currently a subgrantee receiving CJCC funds? Which best classifies your agency? And then what is the best description of your agency? You could choose up to 3 for that. Next would be list all the types of victims served by the agency, and then types of services provided by the agency to victims. And what counties does your agency consider part of its service area? Lastly, in what counties does your agency want to be eligible to receive LVAP funding? And then there's a little bit of descriptor area in this form stack, which kind of details what it means to be HTVAO certified. And then it breaks down again the supporting documentation required for HTVAO. So from the list below, select the type of CCR efforts in which you or your agency can provide an MOU for. Can your agency provide documentation showing proof of trauma-informed services? And does your agency provide services to child victims of sexual or exploitation or trafficking? Lastly, does your agency from your organization receive child exploitation, trafficking victim referrals? And then we get into the supporting documentation, specifically the training. So does at least one staff member employed in your direct victim services have credentials for training for your agency? Then you're going to go into detail about the staff member or employee who you're going to be submitting the training for. So if it's me, I'll be submitting my training. I would put my information here. And also note if any of the documents are too big, such as the protocol or the organization manual, feel free to email that to Erica. Next, you'll be dropping the required supporting documentation. So the organization manual, the training credentials, the strategic plan, the intake or the assessment form, the MOU, protocol, or proof of task force membership, current licensure for mental health or social work professional, and then additional drop-down boxes if you have other supporting documentation. Last but not least is the confirmation section. This is just you checking off that everything is correct and making sure that you understand that you are signing up for HTVAO certification, which means that your agency serves child victims. And then you just click submit form. So before I move on, let me go ahead and take a look at these questions.
And I can kind of help get you
Yeah,
back
can you
to
just read
where
those
they
off to
started.
me?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So it looks like one of the first questions coming in is about training. So
Mhm.
Amy said documentation for training would be certificates for each completed training? Question mark.
Yes, so that's preferable. If there's certificates for the trainings that are completed, that's perfect because it lets us know the amount of hours and when the training took place.
Great. Next question. Doris is asking, did you say 20 hours training for one staff?
Correct. Yes, Doris.
All right. Sarah has asked, I'm a campus advocate at a public institution. Would I need proof of nonprofit status?
That's a good question. So what, I guess I would need to know what agency, I guess it would be.
Yeah, and Sarah, if you want to follow up direct, we can kind of look into
Yes,
it. But I do believe, yes, that nonprofit status would need to be
right.
proven. All right. Maria has asked, if you seek certification statewide, are you supposed to have an MOU for every county?
So there are statewide waivers where you can request. You would have to use your agency letterhead and basically just write down why you are requesting statewide waiver.
Great. Rebecca has said or asked, are there specific training certificates that need to be completed or any associated training from a specific source? And I do, if Rebecca, if you're uh, speaking in or requesting in terms of HTVAO, yes, we do have a few suggested or recommended trainings that you can take a look at that would help fulfill the requirement. And that should be provided on some of that documentation that Natalia just shared. It's also available on the website or will be available on the website and in the guidelines, the 2026-2028 guidelines. And then Natalia, if you have anything special that you would like to mention on that front for LVAP.
Yep. So there's no specific training that we require. We do suggest OVC TTAC, I believe it is. They just have a great free resource of trainings that I believe add up to maybe 40 hours. But again, you only need 20 hours. But that's my best resource. I know a lot of other, I believe CHOA also has one as well. But we don't have any specific training that you would need to complete.
Great. And then Doris has asked, do you mean MOUs with partner agencies in counties that we work in?
That's correct, Doris.
Great. All right. Next question. What counts
Well,
as 20 out? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask a follow-up question on that. If
Sure.
if you're in a situation where you're receiving all your referrals from the state, from DFAC special unit, we have them statewide, as you indicated before, but we wouldn't have agreements with each county. So we just explain that.
Yeah. And Mary, I think
Explain that in a memo or whatever.
Sure. And I think for you guys, Mary, with Grace's Place, I think that would, if that's what you're referring to,
Yes.
if you can demonstrate that relationship between you and DHS, that would suffice.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then next question, what counts as 20 hours of victim service training and how can we get it if we do not have it? I think we just touched on that, but if there are additional questions, please let me know in the chat.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so our program has been around for about 30 years, and now we currently partner with UNODC. to provide training around the country and around the world, but also to provide services to survivors, victims and survivors. I don't like using the word victim, but victims and survivors. So do we need an MOU from every institution as well as agency that we work with? Because if they're not specifically Georgia related, but we do provide services in Georgia.
So, and are you for you guys, Donna, with your agency, are you asking on the HTVAO side or just the LVAP side?
Both,
Okay,
because of where we're going from now, from where we are to where we're going, we're going to need both. And so the certifications on both sides, but I guess our certifications in working with juveniles are not as, we don't have as many certifications working with juveniles as we do adults.
gotcha. So I can speak a little bit for HTVAO. That is only CSEC specific. So any MOU that you guys have in place, sort of a relationship that you can establish or help to establish for services for CSEC victims, that would fulfill the requirement for HTVAO. And then
Okay.
Natalia, I don't know if you want to chime in on LVAP stuff.
Yep, LVAP is a little bit, just any MOU that shows that you have a partnership with whatever county you're trying to be certified in, showing that you in some way serve survivors, victims of all kinds in that county.
So we received referrals from state prisons, and so a lot of the women that we get are from counties all over the state of Georgia. How do I how do I get MOUs from all those different counties?
So in that way, would it be, would you say it's statewide? Which are you getting referrals all through? Okay, so that might be a case of where you need a statewide waiver.
Yeah, because the women that generally come to us come from one of the state prisons, and
Okay.
so they could be from any county in the state. And they may not be placed back in that county. They may be placed in another county, but I guess I need to know, do I get the waiver from the state or do I have to get an MOU from every county?
No, so for a statewide waiver, you would use your agency letterhead and just type up a letter requesting a waiver for the MOU.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Yeah, thank you for the
Hi.
question.
Hi,
Oh.
this is Amy Economopoulos with
Yeah.
the Child Advocacy Center in Cherokee County, the Anna Crawford Children's Center. I have one question and then one response to someone that I saw had typed in the chat. My question is regarding the 501c3 and the EIN documentation. I think mine is one and the same. Is that acceptable, or is there a particular EIN document that you're looking for?
So the EIN is the IRS letter, and if you don't have any supporting documentation or an additional document to kind of show the 501c3 status, you can go ahead and just attach that again.
Okay, so I can just put the 501, because the 501c3 has our EIN information. So I'll just attach that twice. And then I saw that someone had asked a question about, does anyone have proof of documentation of the MDT CSEC protocol with DFACS? And I was just going to say that I just reached out to Tracy McMahon, because if you recall, we each have to submit a signed agreement in order to be added to be a part of the DFACS CSEC MDT. I just reached out to her and asked her if she could send me the agreement that I had signed back in August or October or whenever it was, and she sent that to me. So if anybody is looking for that, I would reach out to Tracy and ask, because once we submitted them, they didn't send them back. So you would probably need to just reach out to Tracy and ask for it. So I hope that's helpful to the person who asked that question.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Amy.
that's great. Yeah, thanks, Amy. Let's get through a couple more questions through the chat because it might help answer some questions that have hands raised. And if not, we can of course circle back. Okay, Marcy's asked, does the licensed staff member need to be the same as the staff completing the training hours?
No, that does not need to be the same.
Okay, next, how do agencies connect with county offices to receive LVAP funds? We have tried several times and never found the correct office.
Okay. Well, usually it's either the district attorney or just the Board of Commissioners. Bharat would most likely be able to track down who was the last to report. And then from there, we can kind of get their contact information for you. Yeah, but they should be answering.
Yeah, you can if you don't know who to go to from the county, you can reach out to me because I administer the county report. So and so the county report mentions who's reporting and which agency within the county is reporting. So yeah, a lot of times it is the district attorney's office, but sometimes it can be the board of commissioners. It can be finance. So it varies by county, but if you can reach out to me and I can connect you with whoever from the county reported the county report.
Great, thank you. Next, Amy's asked if we serve multiple counties, do we need an MOU from each board of commissioners, or if the district attorney handles ours for all, do we get the MOU from that office? And I think we just kind of helped answer that.
Yep.
All right, Christina has asked, I understand the training for CSEC, but if we are serving adult victims, do we still qualify? So you would qualify for LVAP, but not HTVAO. All right, someone has said, correct me if I'm wrong, we only need supporting documentation for one individual with 20 hours, not all individuals that may have it. You're welcome to submit anybody on staff that has gone through training hours if you want to just add that in, but for purposes for the eligibility and supporting documentation for HTVAO and LVAP, we only need to see documentation or proof that one individual on staff has gone through those 20 hours of training, 10 specific to CSEC if you're applying for HTVAO.
Correct.
Anika has asked, how do we get the username and password? Are we going to be touching on that in the next section, Bharat?
I could just say that yeah, you can reach out to me with the username and password, whether you're an agency who's submitted before or if you're a new agency. So if you are a new agency, and if you've never had done LVAP, then yeah, you would reach out to me and I can provide you a login ID and password.
Great, thank you. All right, Alicia has asked, last year there was a requirement to have a certified audit conducted. What does that audit entail?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about an audit.
Yeah, we haven't heard of an audit.
They were requiring for a certified public accountant to look over our finances, and we had to provide that. I unfortunately was not able to do so because every accountant that I asked, they said, well, that's a great amount of work. What exactly are they looking for? So is that no longer required this year?
To our knowledge, well, from what we've seen and know, I don't believe so.
No, we've never, at least since the three of us have taken it over, I'm not familiar with any requests
Yeah.
for that. Bharat, I don't know if you have any historical knowledge on the LVAP side, but
The only thing I would say is at least for still in counties where the DA's office or the Solicitor General's office handles it, but also is receiving money, the audit can sometimes look, depending on the county, look at how much of the money is going to the DA's office, like all LVAP funds going just to the DA's office, or is it being distributed to other agencies as well? I mean that could be a potential audit. But that's one that, on the top of my head that I'm looking at. But in terms of what they look at specifically, But in terms of more detail on that, it just would vary by whatever the county is and whatever the situation is.
Thank you.
Is it possible that that was more of a general CJCC standard versus and 5%?
I thought it was one of the requirements to apply for the LVAP.
I remember doing that separately from this process because it was done last year, and this was due on 24 and again on 26. We did the audit last year on 25.
So as far as the audit itself, that is a separate issue from the stuff required to get certification. Usually, like the Georgia Department of Audits, like if they may reach out to us about an audit, but that's separate from the certification process. Hopefully, does that answer your question? Or
Yes, because I thought it was
okay.
part of the certification process. But if it comes afterwards, then I'll get more detail as to what is needed when it is requested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Someone's asked, does anyone have proof of membership from the new DFAC CSEC response? I think thanks to Amy, she just plugged in that caveat with Tracy, and I believe Tracy, I'm still going through the chat, guys, but I believe someone has dropped Tracy's. Yep. Okay, great. If I scrolled on down, Tracy's email address was plugged in, so you can certainly feel free to reach out to them for that. All right, someone has asked, is there a specific organization we need to take the trainings with? I think we've already addressed that. Another question about training found on the website, we've already addressed that. Amy followed up with 501c3 and EIN or same document. I think we've already addressed that. Is it possible to get a copy of our agency's most recent submission packet?
So yes, I can go in and export it as a PDF from when it was submitted back in 2024, and I can email that to you for reference if you need to use that. You just need to email me so that I know what agency to look for.
And we can drop all of our contact information into the chat as well for folks. Kimberly has asked, is this all due this is all due by next week?
So due date is the 27th. However, if you feel you need an extension, please feel free to reach out to me or Erica and we can figure something out.
Doris has asked, what if the certificate does not include hours, but just the date, 26th through the 28th of 2025? So we will, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Natalia.
Yeah. So that's perfectly fine if you have some supporting documentation to go along with that to kind of show, because it sounds like that was like maybe a conference or something. So if you have an email or a document with the itinerary that kind of shows the times on it, that'd be great.
Great, thank you. All right, Heather has asked, could you share an example MOU that she could use to create her own?
Yes, so CJCC actually has MOU templates. If you email me, I can send that to you as well.
Great, thank you. All right, Manoush has asked, if we are at capacity building and only providing mental health for HT survivors, can we apply for HTVAO? So if you provide services in any capacity for CSEC, you are welcome to apply. You just need to be able to, show the supporting documentation that's fulfilling all the requirements, and it has to be CSEC specific. All right, sorry, I'm going through all these AI chats. Melissa has asked, my advocates have completed all the VAT trainings available through OVC, but they are not issuing certificates for a total number of hours, only training transcripts showing the individual trainings completed and whether it was for 30 minutes, 45, or an hour. Will this still be acceptable as supporting documentation as long as the total number meets the 20 hours? And yes, that would suffice. Dominique has asked, how do you obtain an MOU for your county? I think we've kind of already touched on that. Any other thoughts or follow up on that question?
Yeah, again, just reach out to any partner nonprofit that you're working with, or if you're working with the DA's office, the sheriff's office, whoever you're working with in that county, we just need to show that the MOU shows kind of that you have a partnership with them and within that county.
Perfect. Christina has asked, are we requesting the statewide MOU from the Attorney General's office?
So you would typically just use your agency letterhead and write a letter requesting a statewide waiver and explaining that you serve victims across the state.
Thank you. Rebecca has asked, the 10 hours of CSEC specific training is only for HTVAO, or is that required for LVAP as well? It is only HTVAO. So if you are, for the 20 hours, if you are just applying or recertifying for LVAP, that can be any victims assistance training. It does not have to have the CSEC component. If you're applying for HTVAO and LVAP, it does need to have the 10-hour CSEC specific component. Okay, if we aren't able to secure county MOUs by next week, what should we do for LVAP research?
Again, just reach out to me and we can figure out an extension if need be.
Great. Matt has asked follow-up. We serve victims with children, but those children are not classified CSEC. Should we apply for LVAP or HTVAO? LVAP. So again, HTVAO is only going to be programs that are serving individuals that are minor victims of sexual exploitation. Is there a sample MOU? I think that we've already kind of answered that. You can reach out to Natalia. If we've submitted our LVAP application but need to add a county, how do we do that? Oh, go ahead.
So are they asking for the supporting documentation side, or I guess I need some clarity on that one.
They said certification application, but I think some agencies have, there's a confusion on the supporting documentation being the application. So why don't we answer it both ways?
Right. So if you're talking about the supporting documentation form stack link where you need to add another county, email me and I can edit it for you, or you can resubmit the whole thing. And that's on my side.
Yeah, and once you're doing the certification application, if you realize that you forgot to include a county, then you can reach out to me and I can if you submitted already, then I can unlock it for you. And if you haven't submitted, you can just go back to the question and put the additional counties.
Great, thank you. All right, Alma has asked, are we able to see?
Oh, I have one more question. I'm sorry. This is Amy Economopoulos again. With regard to the different MDT protocol or different MDT MOUs or agreements, we also have a DV MDT in our county that's been functioning for several years, but we don't have an official MOU in place for whatever reason. We just meet monthly and have an agenda and all of that. Do you want to see proof that that exists, or if there's not an MOU, would you rather us just not provide that at all?
And is that for LVAP or HTVAO?
HTVAO.
Okay.
Because one of the questions was, do you have like other MDTs? I can't remember if it specifically asked about domestic violence MDTs or just other MDTs. And I remember making a note, like we have our DV MDT, we meet regularly, but we don't have a formalized MOU. So do you want documentation that it exists and meets, or would you rather us just not bother you with that?
Amy, is the MDT that you guys participate and engage with your local DV organization there, do you guys staff CSEC cases?
Potentially. I mean, sometimes it's, sometimes they're intermingled. I mean, I can just leave that out. I just thought I'd ask about DV MDT specifically. I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
Not for CSEC.
Okay, I can just leave it out then. I don't want to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, just whatever is easier. I think you guys already probably have established document and supporting documentation to support some other relationships, local MOUs, community MOUs or agreements. So that will meet the requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Okay. Next question, and I'm sorry, y'all, we're trying to be expeditious because we still have more to get through. Are we able to see the county report to see which agencies have received LVAP funds? I'm not aware of any agencies that have received it besides the DA offices.
I would say, I mean, that's something we haven't, in the past, sent the county report to an agency, but I would just say reach out to me and I can look into things, but whether I can actually send you the county report, that's something that we typically haven't done. But go ahead and reach out if you have questions, and I can see what information I can provide.
Okay. Next question. We received the LVAP cert since June 2025. However, we have not received any funds from the counties yet. We have reached out to the counties, but are still waiting for the answer. Not a specific question with that, but happy to follow up if needed. Kelly has stated, we have been LVAP certified for many years and have rarely received any funds locally. Donna, are there funds available to create a survivor leadership component, and would that be state funded? So that would be a separate initiative from LVAP or HTVAO, but happy to kind of follow up and chat more through that. Next question. Since we work with several agencies across the county, are we required to have a separate MOU? I think we've already kind of touched on that. Beloved has asked for the OVC TTAC online training. I believe the full 42-hour training must be completed to receive certification of completion. Is it possible to complete the 20 hours and provide a transcript of completed modules to fulfill the training requirement? Yeah, if you guys have a way of being able to demonstrate the 20-hour fulfillment or requirement, then that would meet our needs on our end. Sorry, next question. There was an audit on the entire LVAP program based on my understanding. Is that what others are referring to?
I mean, I believe so. That's what people were talking about, because yeah, there were audits. I think the Georgia Department of Audits sent out something to the different agencies. But yeah, as far as I understand, yes, that is what it appears to be what people were referring to. But again, to be clear, the audit process is separate from the certification process for LVAP.
Great. And some of these questions I'm filtering through because we've already answered. Someone has asked, we have someone who was certified in our organization. How often do you have to be recertified? It sounds like you said the cutoff date is 2024 for certification. Not totally sure what that means, but we recertify or certify every 2 years. Does that include MOUs from DFACs or the court system? Again, I would just encourage folks, any established relationship that you have there in your local jurisdiction or your community, that you're able to demonstrate those relationships through MOUs. We will accept, we'll review and accept those as they come in. Okay, guys, I know we have a couple more questions, but we really have to get to the second part now that we only have a few minutes left. So, Bharat, I'm going to go and quickly turn it over to you, and we'll try to get back if we can.
Quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it MOU signed 2025 okay for this application?
Michelle. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. And can you hear? Oh, and obviously you can hear me because you responded. Okay. So now I'm going to be going over the certification application. So to be clear, what Natalia and Erica went over is the supporting documentation. So the link I sent you all, that was for that you filled out. That's for supporting documentation. I haven't sent the certification application yet. I plan on doing that sometime in March after the due date for the supporting documentation. But I will showing you a preview of what that looks like. So we actually switched to a new tool called Alchema. We used to use something called the ISA. Well, I mean, largely the questions will look the same, but there's just going to be some slight differences. One of which is if you happen to close the browser or the tab by mistake, then you won't be locked out. The ISA initially you had to press the stop button, and then would send like a weird message that looked like you submitted. But but if you close the browser or the tab, it'll lock you out. So that's one advantage and one reason why we switched to Alchema. But a lot of the questions more or less look the same. So first it starts off with the login screen, and then when you press next, and then it'll just show you kind of an introduction of LVAP and this report. So at any time, press next to move forward and back to go to a previous question. So now you're going to select your agency name. And if for whatever reason you don't see your agency name in there, reach out to me. I'll have to add it back in. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you don't see the agency name, but you'll click the drop down and select your agency name and then press next. So now it's going to ask you, are you applying for recertification or are you just doing the annual report? Right now, it is the recertification application. Now we've sometimes thrown out the word annual report. So to clarify, each year you're doing some form of annual report. Right now is the recertification application. But the questions that are in the annual report are also in the recertification application. So you'll be answering questions about LVAP funds that you received in 2025, and then next year, in 2027, you're going to be answering questions on what you received this year in 2026. So there's a lot of so every question in the annual report is also in the recertification application, but the recertification application has additional questions that the regular annual report doesn't do. So right now it's recertification period. Every even year is recertification. So make sure to keep it recertification selected. And in odd years, you're going to select annual report. And now you're going to fill out agency information. And the part for DBA, if you have one, you can put it. Otherwise, you can put, not applicable. It does also allow you to leave that part blank, but all the other questions you should answer, such as the address and zip code and everything. Now it's going to ask if you're applying for just LVAP or you're applying for HTVAO as well as LVAP. So if you are trying to get the human trafficking certification, if you work with CSEC victims and are trying to obtain that, then you'd select the second. Otherwise, most agencies will be selecting the first one. Not requesting certification, that's a very rare situation where you'd select that. Just about everyone on here is going to select one of these two. But if for whatever reason you're not sure if the not requesting certification would apply to you, then you could reach out to me, but it's pretty rare. Most agencies just about every agency on here would do either the first or the second. All right, so now it's going to ask if you receive grant funds from CJCC. And that would be things like VOCA, VAWA, and other things. So this particular question is not asking about LVAP for if you're receiving LVAP funds. It's about the other funds such as VOCA and VAWA, TANF, whatever it may be. Now, after you answer that, it's going to ask which of those funds from CJC you receive. And if that fund is not here, then you can type it in other, and then you can click on other and then type that in. Now it's going to ask if you're currently certified. So if you're certified for 2024 through 2026, if you received a certification letter, then you'd click yes. And if you think you're certified, but you don't remember receiving the letter or you can't find it, you can always reach out to us if you're not, reach out to me if you're not sure. But yeah, this question is asking if you're certified for the 2024 through 2026 period. Now it's asking if you received any funds. So if you received 0 funds, then you put no. Let's see. Okay. All right. Now it's gonna oh, so it's going to ask you which counties you receive funds from, and then once you select those counties, it's going to ask you the amounts you received from those counties. All right. Now it's going to ask you the uses of how you use the LVAP funds. And so you select all that up, any and all that apply. And if there's something that's not on this list, you click other and then type that in. Now it's going to ask what percentage of your victim services budget comes from LVAP funds. You're going to put that as a decimal. So if it's let's say 50%, you'd put 0.5 or 0.50. If it's 25%, you'd put 0.25. And if it's a single percentage, you'd put let's just say it's 8%, you'd put 0.08. So now it's going to move on to some more specific certification application questions, the kind of questions that might not be in the regular annual report. Okay, so if you did select that you're also doing HTVAO, it's going to ask you what counties you've served CSEC victims in. So you click any and all counties. Make sure to click the first county, and then if you have to add additional counties, press and hold Control. Don't press and hold Control before you click on the first county. Because then it might select some additional ones. So, for example, if you were certified in Baker, and then also Ben Hill, click on Baker, then press and hold Control, and then click Ben Hill after that. Now you're gonna put how many CSEC victims you served in those counties. All right, now it's going to start asking you, other questions, general questions. So what's your agency type? And again, select any and all. Now it's going to ask you the victimization types that you serve. Again, select any and all. And again, the same thing with service types, select all that apply. Now it's going to ask your information, whoever's reporting this, and your position and additional questions. Now it's going to ask you about your service area. So this is just your service area as an agency in general. It's not specific to LVAP. It is just what counties do you serve victims? And then the next question would be, how many victims you've served in those counties. Now, of the counties in your service area, it's going to ask which counties you want to be certified in. Now, you might want to be certified in all counties of your service area, but you might just want to be certified in a few. So again, click on any and all of those counties that you want to be certified in. Okay, so now it's going to ask you to put in the executive director's name, and then the PIN is your password that you use to log in. Okay, now this is the summary page. So to be clear, this is a summary page. It is not submission. You will have to scroll down and click the submit button to submit. It's a good idea to first download the PDF of your report. And then after that, click the submit button. And then once you submit, you will see this screen. If you do not see the screen, that means you have not submitted. And again, the summary page is not a submission. Even though, yes, you answered all the questions, you still have to scroll down and click submit to actually submit the certification application. And so once you fulfill that requirement, so you've done both step 1 and 2, then you fulfill the certification application requirements, and we'll start sending letters. Now, we do have to get our executive director to sign the letters, and we do it in batches. So you may not get the letter immediately after you fill it out. We'll get a batch of several agencies, send that over to our executive director. And then once he signs them all, then we're going to start sending them out. But yes, once you've fulfilled the certification application, and which we're going to send out only to agencies that fulfilled the supporting documentation. Once you've done both of those steps, then you've satisfied the certification application, and we'll send the certification letters as soon as we're able to. All right, so this is my contact information. I'll be taking questions as well, and if for whatever reason you or not, if you don't think of the question now and you come up with it later, this is my information, and I'll also put it in the chat. You can reach out to me with any future questions about the certification application. And just to be clear again, I have not sent this out yet. I'm gonna wait till March to send it out, which will be after the supporting documentation are due. And if let's say you did happen to request the extension, then I would again send an email after I'm notified that your supporting documentation was successfully submitted. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put my information in the chat. Okay, so and then I'll look through questions.
I think
Okay.
most of them, Bharat, have been answered. Natalia and I have been responding via chat to most of them. And again, Donna, for the question regarding the prisons, if you guys are receiving referrals, since that would technically be statewide, again, to Natalia's point, I would go ahead and request that statewide MOU.
Do I request a waiver from CJCC or from or who do we request that statewide waiver from?
So you're going to use your agency letterhead and write a letter. And when you're writing that letter, you can address the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, for HTVAO, do the policy and procedures, not employee manual, reference the PMP we have for our CSEC residential home? Yeah, that can suffice. If you guys have that PMP, if you are providing residential services, that's certainly something to include. If you guys are providing residential and community-based services or just community-based services, whichever PMP you currently have, that would meet that requirement. Is certification link and the recertification link the same?
Yes, I use it interchangeably. But yes, it's the same link. If you're a new agency, then it's a certification. But then if you're or I mean it's certification link it will apply whether you're a new or agent or an agency that has been LVAP certified. So if it clears confusion, we can just say certification application. But yeah, since a lot of agencies are certified and are trying to continue their certification, that's kind of why I'll also call it the recertification application. But yes, they are the same link.
We also, I think a few people have asked, when are we receiving the link for the certification application? I just want to clarify, you can't get that link until you finish step 1, which is the supporting documentation. So once you submit the supporting documentation and it's reviewed, I notified Bharat that your agency has fulfilled all the supporting documentation. And then starting early March, he will email you step 2, the instructions on how to fill out the certification application, which will include the link. So once you finish step 1, I will notify Barbara and I will notify you, letting you know that supporting documentation is good, and you should keep your eye out for an email for Barbara.
Thanks, Natalia. All right. Someone has asked, did you say if we receive the link from you that our supporting documents were accepted, or do we get something from first confirming supporting documents are okay? And I think you kind of just touched on that, Natalia.
Yep.
Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for the shout out. Chelsea has asked, is part 2 necessary if we do not receive LVAP funding and do not intend to?
So if you are a VOCA funded agency, they are expecting that as part of the vo receiving VOCA funds. Um, so yeah, even if you're not intending on receiving LVAP funding, if you are getting VOCA funding, for example, then yes, you should still do this. And if you've done it in the past, even if you haven't received funds, likely you would continue. But if there's a particular agency, if you want to know about your own agency, and if you need to if you need to submit the LVAP application, you can always reach out to me, and I can see if there's anything separate for your agency. But more often than not, if you're an agency who has done it before, then you're likely to have to continue to be doing it. And if you're receiving VOCA funds, even if you haven't done LVAP application before, if you're receiving a VOCA funds, then you should do the LVAP application.
Thanks for that. And I think someone asked earlier in the chat, and I just wanted to reiterate this verbally. HTVAO certification is not required to receive CJCC funding. I think someone specifically asked that, so I just wanted to make that distinction. Per SB 158, if you all are receiving referrals from law enforcement or DFACs, or you intend to and you're a CSEC serving organization, then you must be HTVAO certified. I think that is everything. I know that we're several minutes over. Bharat, Natalia, if you guys have anything else, I just wanted to thank you guys for being here and hanging on a few minutes after. We know that it's a lengthy process. We know that it's a detailed process. We tried to make it as streamlined as possible with the combining of LVAP and HGBAO. So hoping that takes some of the burden off of you guys. But we're also always here for questions if anybody has anything. So please feel free to reach out. And Bharat, Natalia, I'll let you guys close us out.
Okay.
Yeah, I just included the emails for myself, Erica, and Bara in the chat. Please feel free to copy and paste that or save that wherever you need. If you have LVAP questions or HTVAO questions, please contact me or Erica. If you have questions on the certification application, contact Bara.
And I do believe that, right, we'll be sending out the PowerPoint and the recording once we finalize that. So, Bharat, I know that you have kind of the full list of attendees. So I guess if you guys are interested, we'll be sure to share that to your inboxes.
Yeah, and I will say the recording, we have to send it to the communications department, and and then they upload it on a channel. So how long that will take, I don't know. Sometimes there is some time, so it's unlikely that we'll have the recording for you today. And although there's going to be a recording in Outlook, for whatever reason, if I try to share that, then external recipients aren't able to view it. So we're gonna have to wait till it gets uploaded to our YouTube channel, and then I'll send you that link. How long that'll take, I don't know. It might be weeks, it might be some time. But yeah, once it's available, I will send it out to people who attended this, or even people who are really. I'm just gonna send it out to the list of contacts we have, along with the PowerPoint. And then I think and I did want to, before I close off, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I think you all do amazing work. So thank you for all you do for the community, both the agencies and also Erica and Natalia. So everyone, you do such good work for the community, and that makes my job more meaningful. I know all these reports and stuff are not fun, and it's not fun for me to have to tell you, okay, you guys have to do this. So unfortunately, that's part of what we have to do. But I just want you to all know that in the end, we all have the same goal of making lives better for the victims, the survivors that are being served. So I would like to leave off with that, and hopefully that helps make this process of the paperwork and these reports less daunting, and adds some more meaning to what it is you all have to do.
Great. All right, thank you guys so much. Again, please reach out if you have any questions. I know that everybody is kind of hopping off with some other meetings and things to get to. So please let us know if you have anything additional, and we're happy to follow up. Everybody have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. You do the same.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Hey, Barat, I was wondering while we're on, if I could just ask you a quick question.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay, well, before we go on, I think, are you guys good with stopping the recording? Oh, did they leave off? Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and stop the recording, but okay, go ahead.
thank you. So we answer the helpline